Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your week. We are here to drop a couple of videos today. I'm actually going to do two videos back to back, both voiceovers. But the first thing I want to talk about is Sha'Carri Richardson. As you guys know, Sha'Carri Richardson is on everyone's lips because she was purported to be our next FloJo, right? Like, she did the Olympic trials and she killed it, like super confident. And, she pointed at the clock as she blew past it in a blur. All right. And, everybody was super excited for her. There was this whole moment where she climbed the stairs and climbed the stairs and climbed the stairs to the top of the bleachers where her grandmother sat, and she hugged and laid upon her breast. It was very moving. Very, very moving. She was just the talk around town because she had this sort of flamboyant style, much like Florence Griffith Joyner, and long nails, the whole nine. And she had this air about her that just sort of made us reminisce upon that. You guys who don't know about FloJo, go and check that out, some of you younger people, because her death caught us all off guard. Like, it was just like, I mean, she's super, super fastest woman in the world. I mean, just absolutely electrifying. And then like that, she was gone. And so it stands to reason that people would have that same sort of nostalgic feeling towards Sha'Carri Richardson, right? It's that same kind of feel-good moment story, right? And big ups to Black women who continue to defy odds, break records, have huge strides, whether it comes in the form of music or art, or, Hollywood production, producing music, science, law, healthcare, astronomy, you name it. Political ventures, corporately. Listen, no matter what you see out there, we are killing the game, right? And we have to take the good with the bad. People are consistently scrutinizing everything it seems like we do, how our whole being, our whole aura, right, is up for discussion, not just amongst others, but even in our own communities, right? So fast forward maybe a week or so, 2 weeks later, I don't even think it was a week, we hear that Sha'Carri Richardson, after the Olympic trials, she blew it away. She's going to the Olympics. Yay. They test her and she tests positive for THC. As you guys know, THC is the part of marijuana that makes it so fun. Just saying, right? Okay, so and medicinal. It's not just all about a good time. It's also medicinal, right? But the Olympics say you can't have it. You can't do it. Can't do that. Can't do steroids. Can't do opioids. You can't do cocaine. You can't do none of it. The rules are clear. They have been clear for many, many, many centuries. All right. She broke the rule, stepped up, said, hey, this is what I did. This is why I did it. So on and so forth. It is what it is. Now, sidebar, my train of thought always from the giddy up, from jump, was that this seemed like something, it seemed to me to be more self-sabotage, right? People like, her mom just passed, and then other people are like, she didn't even know her mom, and people are like, hey, she knew the rules, and this is what you get, and then there's all those others that have just hugely, wildly derogatory things to say about her just because she's a black woman. All right. But me personally, myself, it felt like self-sabotage. I think the discussion could have been had. I mean, you do know the rules. You do know what's up. You do know they're going to test you, right? Even if they're testing uh, others twice a week, you should expect them to test you 4 times a week. I mean, we've been taught and we have learned on a lot of cases, on a lot of different levels, that we have to be 2 steps ahead, right? All right. So, given all of this, doesn't it seem more rational that she sabotaged herself? Whether it be on an unconscious or a conscious level, I mean, doesn't it seem feasible, right? That was my stance. So the Olympics happens. It was what it was. Lackluster, in my opinion. It just was not great. There were a lot of great moments, which included black women, black men. Shout out to everyone black. But it happened. It's over. And now Sha'Carri this weekend, which is the weekend of August 20th, right? 21. And Sha'Carri is in a meet with other U.S. Olympians, the bulk of which, if I'm not mistaken, were Jamaican. And she comes in. I mean, if she wasn't dead last, she was the guy right next to the guy who was dead last, right? Like, and honestly, I watched the whole thing, and there was this sort of false start, and it just kind of made us anxious. And then, I mean, she looked beautiful. She looked absolutely gorgeous. She had this kind of platinum blonde, body wave hair in. It's really beautiful. She's a pretty girl. All the girls look wonderful. And fit. Oh my gosh, these ladies are so fit, right? So they finally get a good start. They take off, and it just, to me, looked like she was there to pick up a check. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. It looked like, listen, they said I had to be here, so I'm here. I mean, she did not even have the straightness of her back and the confidence in her run that she had during that Olympic trial. During that Olympic trial, baby, I mean, I tell you, she was straight back and lean, and those legs were extended. I mean, she just seemed a bit defeated, like she kind of was phoning it in. Now, I can't run downstairs at my own house. Okay, I'm taking 1 step at a time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not coming against anybody's physical ability, especially when it comes to being mobile. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even, right? But just looking at it from a spectator standpoint, from someone who watched a lot of track and field in my day, you can just tell in an individual when they're not fully committed to the run, right? Even when you're looking at, let's say I'm looking at Usain Bolt, but I look at the person that's 5th or 6th back, just their demeanor lets me know they know that they've already lost. And there's this look, there's this feel, there's this energy, there's this run of give up, defeat. I can see it in them, right? So everyone's talking about that, but also everyone's sort of talking about, with that, everyone has their own opinions, much like myself, about how the run went and ultimately what is going on with Sha'Carri Richardson. Like, what is happening? Like, ma'am, are you giving up? Are you going to keep fighting? A lot of us want her to be that symbol, that icon. A lot of us just want her to win. I know that's me. I just want her to win. As a young person, as a black person, as a person who deserves, just like any of us, to have their moment, right? To shine in the thing that they are gifted in, right? But a lot of people, a lot of others, lot of black men have their definite, defining, decisive opinions on why the run went the way that it went. So, also, there is some concern about some tweets that she did in the past. And I think the tweets were like, I don't know, don't quote me, 2015, 2017, maybe. Maybe. I'm not sure exactly about that. But we do know that given her age, she is, in her early 20s, and she's a young woman. She was brought up by her grandmother, and all of these different variables, right? And I'm only bringing that up because I think people, including myself, maybe give her a little bit of concession, a little bit of leeway because of that, because she can still recover. She can still recover. She can still come back and be stronger and better than ever. And even if it is not in racing, she still has the potential and the ability to be successful, whatever success looks like for her. Right? She still has that ability. And so I want to support her. I want to support the potential that is ultimately Sha'Carri Richardson, right? So, yeah, a lot of people have their different viewpoints, and they're looking at it from all different sides, and they're using all different pieces of information. The tweets were varied. They were some, the first three that I saw were speaking about the color pink. And the color pink, if a man wears the color pink, it was something about bury yourself or go put yourself in a hole. It was something like that, right? And I'm just like, it's ridiculous. Some of the hottest looks I've ever seen on a man has been in pink, right? But I was just like, what are you talking about? And then she had another tweet where she said, hey, if you follow Lil Nas X, you can unfollow me. And we all know the controversy that surrounds Lil Nas X, not just because he's gay, but also because he has come out creatively in a way that kind of highlights relations with the devil. I don't know. What do you call it? I don't know. The blood in the shoe, like, I don't even, like, a lot of people, gay and straight, are offended by that, right? So she could have been saying that for a couple of things, right? But, it is what it is. Also, there was this comment about, do you think you're born gay? Do you think you choose gay? And then her response was, you choose gay. Also, what's known about Sha'Carri Richardson is that she is a part of the LGBTQIA community. She identifies as bisexual. She currently, if all things remain the same, is in a relationship with a female. And so I didn't even know she was trending, right? I mean, I knew people were kind of talking about her because of how she did the race situation, but I had no idea that people were talking also about these problematic tweets that she had, right? And so one of my friends on Twitter kind of tweeted that this may be why she's receiving so much negativity, is because she's putting out a lot of negativity. And then there was some reference, not necessarily by this person that was tweeting, but there was some reference within the article, which was written by Gay Magazine, and in the body of the tweet about homophobia, her being homophobic. And I was instantly intrigued because I'm like, well, she's homosexual, right? I mean, she's lesbian, right? Being under the umbrella of homosexuality includes lesbians, gay men, bisexual individuals, LGBT, transgender, LGBTQ, queer, LGBTQI. I'm not really sure what I means. Does it mean intersexual, asexual? I don't know. You get it. I think I did good, though. I think I did good, right? In terms of like the overall umbrella under homosexuality, all of these things lie. That's my whole point, right? Anyway, so I was like, how can Sha'Carri Richardson be considered homophobic? Because she is homosexual. I mean, I felt like I had a valid question. Is it like when people say black people can't be racist? Because we don't have the ability, either financially or, socially, all of these myriad of ways, we don't have to be oppressive, and racism is all about oppression, right? So I'm just wondering, hey, does a person who identifies as a part of the community, can they be labeled homophobic? And I felt like I had a legitimate point, and a couple of people kind of bounced back and forth with me in conversation. And it got to this weird, confusing, I don't think it was confusing, but kind of muddled kind of way. Like there was some rabbit trails in conversation, I'll admit to that. But ultimately the question still stood, and I wanted an answer for it. So I tweeted from my own self. I quoted the original tweet and tweeted out and asked some of my people, that follow me on Twitter, and some people I trust and I adore, who you are, right? And they, help me to understand, help me to see that it is possible for an individual who is in the community to also exhibit homophobia within the community, right? So shout out to my girl. Let me just tell you what she said to me when I put it out there abroad. And I had sort of like these tenuous moments with the people I was currently talking with, and they got frustrated. I got frustrated, and the conversation was dead, but I still was none the wiser about the subject. And I want to know. I want to know because ultimately I'm a person that tries to lead in love. Do I fall short? Of course. But I want to know. I want to know because I'm thinking, I'm thinking about things, right? I'm mulling it over. It's not enough to celebrate people, to side with people, to ally with people. And that's just it, right? We have to be educated in our thinking, and it has to be continual. We have to be willing to let go of some things that maybe we supported before. We have to look at the options of picking up new things to support, depending on our capacity to understand, right? But first and foremost, above all of these things, the most important is love, right? How can I say that I love you and I don't seek to understand? Come on. All right. It's fine. Marinate. Anywho, so my girl, my pud, okay, she says to me in response, and I mean, the balls, the gall, the audacity to respond, right? It's easy to take this safe stance and stick your head in the sand and not get in the game. Whether it is to say, hey, I'm ignorant, but what about yada, 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 but just for you to just fall back and I'm just not in it, right? Okay. But again, we're talking about labeling this young black woman in a way that could be detrimental to her future. And so my point is, was it truly homophobic, or is it just ignorance, right? Is it just prejudice? Not just prejudice, because that's egregious in its own right? But is it to this extent? Are we canceling? Are we taking the baby and the bathwater and throwing them out? I don't know. Help me understand here, right? Should I give her concession? Remember, the black woman is considered to be one of the most unsupported, right? Everyone's given the benefit of doubt, except a lot of times blacks and, more importantly, black women, right? I'm not prepared to take this label and stamp it across her forehead. Problematic, okay, that's fine. But we saying she homophobic and she in the life? No. You got to talk to me. Talk to me. What are we saying here? What's happening, right? So, my good friend, here's my original tweet. Quick question: is SR Sha'Carri Richardson homophobic? For her past tweets, considering she's a part of the LGBTQIA community? Question mark, thoughts, question mark. And my friend responds, internalized homophobia is still a problem. Plus, most of her homophobia is directed towards men, not women. I say, so in your opinion, she's homophobic? Question mark. And the individual bravely says, yep, against gay men. This makes me even more confused. Honestly. And probably it's my puny little hetero mind, and probably the fact that, I'm almost 51. So I respond, okay, I agree that homophobia is an issue, but given the weight of the word, homophobia, much like the term racism as it pertains to black on black issues, is homophobia the correct term, right? If racism isn't the correct term for the discrimination that we use, that happens within our own community, color of your skin, the size of your booty, how you talk, where you're from. Like we kind of marginalize each other a lot, right? Too, at the same time. But it's not considered racism, right? So I say, but given the weight of the word, much like the term racism, is it, as it pertains to black on black issues, is homophobia the correct term? Question mark. Or is prejudice a better word? Question mark. Not to split hairs, but labels are important, right? And so she responded, and when the way she responded for me was profound because it connected me to what she was saying, right? She says, I don't think so. I think homophobia is more accurate because anybody can be homophobic. Even gay people. Think about how some of the most anti-gay politicians are DL, which is an acronym for down low, right? Secretly gay. Or how some DL men bully or abuse openly gay men. I prefer to use internalized homophobia when talking about it. I instantly got what she was saying. I got it. Like, I got it, right? I was just seeking to understand. Especially since I didn't want to label this young black woman. I didn't want to do it. Okay. So I say, wow, I totally get that. Excellent point. It's crazy when you think about all the ways we wound others as a way to mask our own pain. And thanks, friend, respect. That's old school term for like, yeah, shout out, word up. Like, I feel you. I'm so hip. And so kindly she responded, you're welcome. The beautiful thing is a lot of people are able to heal and embrace and love every part of their being. I know people like this, people who are truly remorseful for the pain they caused others in order to mask their own pain. I want to hug her neck. I want to be honest. Honestly, I want to hug her neck. Like, that's it. That's all. It's not, the Bible talks about come let us reason together. Okay. And that's all I seek. I seek the ability to reason together, right? With respect. With respect. Right? No one has the right to disrespect you. All right. Okay. That applies to all of us. Since this conversation started, it has also come out a couple of tweets ago that Sha'Carri, this last meet that she was in, all against her own teammates, um, there was a photo, and in the photo there was a young lady who stood just behind Sha'Carri. She was just as beautiful to me as Sha'Carri was, and someone made a cruel joke about her looking like little Wayne, and Sha'Carri Richardson is snapshotted as having liked that comment, right? And so obviously she's getting backlash for that too. Okay. And I don't know. I mean, at the time of this taping, she may have come out and say, "Hey, my account was hacked. I had sugar diabetes." I mean, it could be any of these things, right? But I think it moreover speaks to what I've said all along about who she is. She is immature, and she's ignorant, right? Are these any is any of this a reason to cancel her? Or do we need to push in on the support? Do we need to push in on positive reinforcement and encouraging and redirecting? I am willing to call Sha'Carri Richardson out on not only what I consider to be self-sabotage, purposeful, in her initial meet, not only with her lackluster performance in this last meet, but also I'm willing to call out her raggediness, okay? Her lack of self-awareness, consideration, compassion, empathy, temperance, whatever you call it, when it comes to these tweets. They are foolish. And the same wherewithal that she used to come out immediately after testing positive for THC and saying, "Hey, I was in the wrong. I accept responsibility." She needs to do the same thing with these tweets, especially because she is a part of the community, especially because unity on all fronts when it comes to our culture is imperative. This is my stance. Likewise, I think it's important to have that constructive criticism because iron sharpens iron, right? Like it takes a village. It doesn't always require cancellation. Sometimes it requires bombarding someone with the actual truth, redirection, but still showing love and support. Hey, it's a slippery slope, right? Got to know how to walk between the raindrops. Criticizing you, but at the same time, I love you. Okay? Trying to encourage you. I see potential in you. Get it. Got it. Good. But I'm cautious about labeling. All that said and done, I'm cautious about labeling because it could hurt her. It could hurt her in a way that is detrimental to her finances, right? Gay money is very powerful. So the term homophobic, I mean, whew, to me, that's huge. That's huge. Whether she sees it as so or not, or even others, I still think it's big. But I get it. I get why it's offensive. I get why it's problematic. I also want to say that I'm a little shocked and disappointed to kind of learn about the infighting and homophobia within the LGBTQIA community. I've since I started this journey to understanding, right? Learned about all of the microaggressions, hate, and discrimination that goes on within the community. You know, with what goes on with lesbian individuals against gay men, or more masculine gay men against more feminine gay men, the aggression across the board against transgender individuals. You know, it is heartbreaking because the community as a whole has had humongous strides in terms of being included, whether it comes, from a political front, being able to run for offices and getting married and having the same equalities as others when it comes to health care and being able to support your partner within the scope of health care and finances and wills and testament, from a legal standpoint, right? Like a lot of strides have been made, and much like the Black community, even more strides need to be made. But it is heartbreaking to hear that because you want to feel as though you're protected. And I can say this, from my standpoint as a Black woman, and oftentimes feeling as though I am not supported by a lot of Black men in terms of, am I good enough? Am I enough, right? To the color of my skin, is it too dark? Is it too light? The texture of my hair. There's this infighting and aggression and hate within our own community. And likewise to see it within in the LGBTQIA community. It's heart-wrenching. It's just as heart-wrenching. It's just as much of a challenge in my opinion. And I definitely can relate from that standpoint. Well, you guys, I would love to know what you think about it. I'd love to know if you follow this at all. Have you seen all the tweets? Just go to Twitter and hit the trending button, and Sha'Carri Richardson's name should pop up. I always want to be quick to give the benefit of the doubt, especially to Black people, especially to Black women, because it's not the norm. It's not the norm, right? We package up, we bundle up, we label up, we compartmentalize, we say, stay right here. This is your square. You cannot move from this square. You cannot grow wider than this square, higher than this square, deeper than this square. You have to stay in this box. And I don't agree with that. I think the reason why this world isn't a better place is because a lot of what would make this world exponentially better is being oppressed, squashed, silenced, dismissed, marginalized. And we are suffering because of it, right? Doesn't mean people aren't wrong, but are they unredeemable? If that's a word, unredeemable. You let me know. Put it down below. I love you guys so much, okay? Okay? Take good care. Don't forget, if you are not subscribed to my channel, to hit that subscription button. Really, super, super, super duper would appreciate that. Until next time, honeybees. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'll holla.